There are three big components to a successful cold call: the way that you open the call, the way that you pitch or explain what you do, and then the way that you handle the objections that you're inevitably going to get on a cold call. Let's start with the opener. Today, we're going to give you what's called the tailored permission opener, which has three big pieces to it. You lead with context, something about them. You then own the fact that it is indeed a cold call, and then you use the fact that you led with some context about them and you were disarmingly honest as a way to get permission to pitch. And so what that might sound like is they answer the phone and they go, "Hello," and I say, "Emma, I just finished reading the press release about the big case win over Acme, and I'm going to be honest, this is a cold call, but it is a well-researched one, and I'm wondering if I can get half a minute to share why that case win had prompted me to call you, and then you can totally hang up on me if it doesn't make sense from there." Most prospects here are going to be like, "All right, fine, go ahead, you've got half a minute." That takes me now to my pitch. But you'll see for your pitch, we are not advocating that you lead with information about your company or your product or your value proposition. Instead, you're going to pitch using what we call a problem proposition, where you lead with the biggest, meatiest problem that you think they're dealing with. Then, in one sentence, you explain how you can make that problem go away. And then you finish by, instead of asking for a demo or a meeting, you ask, "Hey, are you even open to learning more?" That might sound like this. They go, "All right, go ahead. You've got half a minute." Cool. Well, look, the reason that I called you is most of the CFOs of the insurance defense law firms that I talk to think it's pretty ridiculous that they have to deal with so many deductions, rejections, and appeals that they get from their insurance carrier clients that they bill after they win a big case for them. And we help about 300 other insurance defense law firms cut down on their billing appeals by alerting their attorneys to billing guideline violations right when they're entering their time. And look, I know I got you totally out of the blue here, but I guess I'm wondering, would you be open to learning more when I'm not calling you out of the blue?
From there, some people are just going to say, sure, but the reality is you are probably going to get at least one objection on a cold call. And this is where most sellers drastically screw up the progress that they made in delivering a good opener and a good initial pitch, is they immediately try to counter the prospect's reaction with a reactionary pitch in return, and that just increases their defense zone. So we're going to use what we call the Mr. Miyagi Method. Instead of countering the objection right away, we're going to wax the objection on and wax the objection off. So I know this is going to sound counterintuitive, but let's just pretend the prospect says, "Look, I've got no budget," as the objection. The first thing that I want to do is I want to agree with the objection. So I might say like, "Hey, Nick, honestly, I hear you. Nowadays, it's frankly hard enough to keep a tool, let alone buy something new." When I do this, it's like the prospect tried to sit in a chair and I pulled it out from underneath them. And now they're actually open to having a conversation. But I'm going to continue to pile on more and incentivize them to share more about why that objection is really true and why I should never call them again. And that might sound like this. "Hey, Nick, just so no one cold calls you again from my team, could you give me a sense, is it because you just don't have budget for this cycle? Or is it like anything you've ever tried to buy, you practically get like wrung through the dryer every single time?" What this does is, number one, it gets them comfortable because they start talking. But then number two, it will usually give me more information so I can effectively handle the objection. And now what I want to do is I want to sell the test drive, not the car. In other words, why should they take a test drive even if they never buy the car? In other words, what will they get out of a meeting with you even if they never actually buy? So here's what that might sound like. "You know, honestly, Nick, my guess is you're probably not going to buy this thing. But, you know, every once in a while, if budget does open up, the people who do end up getting it are the ones who know what's like 1, 2, and 3 on their punch list. So would you be open to taking a look at this thing? Not for now, but just in case budget opens up down the road." Once Nick is in the meeting, in the car, then I can convince him on how we're going to secure budget, how I'm going to rip and replace his existing car or his existing tool, and how we're going to make the implementation and the transition super, super easy, but we're not going to do that on a cold call. So folks, you have your minimum viable cold calling script. It's not going to get you through every objection in the world. It's not going to get you through every situation, but it is absolutely enough to start picking up the phone today.
We've got one more resource for you, which is a 52-minute summary of our best-selling book, Cold Calling Sucks, and That's Why It Works. Give this one a watch if you're still feeling a little bit uneasy. This will give you a lot more to get started on the phones.